Hello and welcome back to the Cryptic Twists. I'm your host Alex Jones, and today we're looking at a Daily Mail cryptic crossword from the 25th of May. Let's get started. So with any cryptic crossword clue, we're looking for a straightforward definition at some point in there, and some second version of a clue as well. Might be a second definition, might be a piece of wordplay, might be something slightly different. So in this first one across, part of a lock, part with a spring. So with this one, this is going to be a hidden clue. So part of is very much a hidden indicator. And specifically with this, we've got that phrasing twice. Part of a lock, part with a spring. Which makes it actually a very well written clue. Because it's got a sort of symmetry to it. But yeah, part of a lock, part with a spring. In the phrase with a spring, we have the text string, HASP, and I'm pretty sure that a hasp is part of a lock. So our definition is part of a lock. That's hasp. Let's just take a look at that one. Slotted hinged metal plate forming a part of a fastening for a door. Yeah, very clearly. That gives us two crossing letters. So let's see what we can do with these. I'm going to err on the side of 2 down, just because it is, just because it's shorter. Laurel traps a devil. So Laurel, I'm thinking a couple of things. One, I'm thinking Laurel and Hardy, and two, I'm thinking a laurel wreath like Julius Caesar would have worn. I don't know if that's the right spelling for either one of them. But then Laurel traps a devil. I'm thinking that inside the word for the synonym for laurel, we're going to put the letter A, and that will give us a word for devil. So actually Laurel, is it Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, I think. So we can get S, so we get Stan, I'm going to put an A in that, we'll get Satan. So yeah, that looks pretty reasonable. I'm going to go 11 across for exactly the same reason, it's a shorter one. Language used by French in Dieppe. And this looks like another hidden to me. The hidden indicator is less clear, used by, but inside the text string French in Dieppe, we do have the H from French, the in, and the DI, and that gives us Hindi, which is a language. I've got 2 crossings here, so we'll go for one. Quiet pair revealing secret. So this is a double definition, I think. If something is secret, then it is hush hush. And our quiet pair, I guess it's not actually double definition, is it? A quiet pair, we've got a word for quiet, hush, and we've got that twice. So, yeah, going okay so far. 9 across. Weather forecast, no longer an issue. I mean, my initial take on this is no longer an issue is likely to be our definition, or some part of that. The question mark at the end makes me think this is going to be some sort of slight turn of phrase, maybe a little bit of a pun. But what could that be? Something's no longer an issue, it's sorted, it's... And weather forecast, so maybe some sort of weather is going to be what we've got. Weather forecast could be a situation report, sitrep. No, I'm not seeing it. Let's go 14 across because we've got a starting letter, and that often is useful. Fabric spotted outside empty apartment. So empty apartment in wordplay terms, could be emptying the word apartment. Taking the first and last letter and using those and getting rid of everything else. So if that was the case, what would we do? If something is spotted, then it could be seen. So not spotted as in having spots, but spotted as in I saw it, I spotted it. Saw doesn't work with AT just because we need 3 letters, so a 4-letter word that starts with S. So I'm guessing seen. And that word for spotted is going to be outside of that empty apartment. It's going to be around it. So what do I think is a fabric? Sateen or C10? I think sateen. So let's look up a definition and just make sure. Sateen, that bodes well. Cotton fabric woven like satin. Brilliant. Okay, so at this point we've got 1 clue with 2 crossing letters or 1 with a starting crossing letter. Let's go for the starting crossing letter and see what we've got. Essay about one mathematical function in 3 volumes. 3 volumes could be a trilogy. Do we have the right number of letters for that? We do. So how would that work? An essay can be a try or an attempt or a piece of writing, but in this case I think we're going for a try. And then one mathematical function, 1 can be I in Roman numerals, and the logarithmic function, shortened to log on your calculator for example, feels like what we're going for there. Let's just look at essay. Demonstrate that that can be an attempt or effort in a more formal sense. Yeah. And then log. So I'm going to go with logarithm. Logarithm in mathematics, it's an exponent of a number, it's a function. That's all we need to know for this purpose. Okay, so we've got 3 here with crossing letters. An I and an O don't feel particularly helpful in terms of like distinguishing a word. The Y maybe, but this one does have 2. Let's go with the Y, see what we've got. Amateur team having ace in reserve. If you're not very good, but you're trying to give it a go, you might be called a try-hard, and in plural try-hards. A team would be multiple people who are try-hards. Let's have a little think about that and see if we like it. I mean, the only reason I'm going with that is because of the Y. But yeah, having ace. Amateur team. I don't think I like it. I can't make it fit with any of the pieces. What about over here? If we get this, might it end in T? Abraham Lincoln's first murder victim in Good Book. So Abraham Lincoln's. Abraham you can shorten to Abe. Lincoln's first with the first letter of Lincoln, and our definition is murder victim in Good Book. The first murder victim in the Bible is Abel. He was killed by his brother Cain. Okay, so that feels like this is going to be lay then, doesn't it? Lay people. No. Lay people is 1 word, 1 letter too many. Laymen's, don't like that, but would be 1 too few. Right, less than 24 across. got 2 crossing letters. Red flower for family. A flower could be a bloom, but flower being in the middle makes me think it's not our definition. Our definition could be red flower, but how is a bloom indicating it's red rather than blue? I think the definition is probably family, which means that because I'm not seeing like an obvious synonym for red or flower that's going to fit in there with another one, like we're looking for 2 synonyms presumably. If this is a wordplay, then I'm imagining it's double definition and we're thinking of a red flower. Red family could be bio something. What if it's not literally family? If it's a type, if it's a classification? No, I'm not seeing it. It may be used for boring cocktail. Cocktail could be an anagram indicator. If you're making a cocktail of drinks, you're putting a lot of things together and mixing it up. And boring is the right number of letters for an anagram. So what could this be then? It may be used. I mean, if that's one vowel and that's the I, it stands to reason that probably one of these 2 is an O. Boring. It may be used. Gibnall. Ringbow. Like, I'm not putting these letters together in a way where sort of 3 letters kind of come together and make another sound. Okay, we've been putting it off, but what we've got in 8 down. Mountain, plant, 1 in the pool, growing wild. So growing wild could be an anagram indicator. Nepal is not enough letters, but if we put 1, as we saw earlier, the Roman numeral I in there, we might be able to get a word like alpine. Now, I mean, alpine presumably means from the Alps. I didn't realise alpine was specifically talking about a plant. Let's take a look. Yeah, so it can be relating to high mountains, i.e. relating to things like the Alps, but also it is apparently a plant that's native. Okay. Now we've got 3 crossing letters for that, and if we still can't get it, it's starting to feel like a problem. Waving hats, sign for battle. I'm imagining that this means battle. I think waving maybe can be an anagram indicator. Something's waving, it's kind of moving, and hats, sign is the right number of letters. What could that be? Hastings. Cool. Brilliant. And we've got 4 crossing letters that are all starters. That's really good. We're going to start left to right. Dad turned light off. Turned feels like it could be an anagram indicator. So if that's the case and we're anagramming dad, dad turned, then what would we have? Presumably light would be the second part of wordplay and off would be our answer. But I'm not seeing how that would work. Something's light, it's carefree, it's weightless, it's... No, I'm not seeing it. Bulb could be lit up. I mean, could be. It can mean so many things in this context. It might be, could be just a join, saying this is one part of the clue, it equals this other part of the clue in terms of, you know, getting to the same word. I think here it's anagram indicator, and we're looking for an anagram of lit up. That means a bulb of some sort. So tulip. We've got another starting letter, so that's good. Actually, I'm going to go for that, because if we get that, we've got good crossing letters down here. Weapon, beginning with L, lance, sometimes placed in front of corporal. Yeah, lance. So, surface reading of this clue, you're giving a weapon to a military man. But both corporal and lance corporal are ranks in the army, I believe. Corporal, a rank of non-commissioned officer, which is the, I think, second rank in the army, with lance corporal being the first rank, just below corporal. So yeah, it literally goes in front of corporal. So I mean, with that, weapon is definitely a definition. Sometimes placed in front of corporal. What is that? Is that a definition? Is that wordplay? It's not quite either. It's verging on cryptic definition, but kind of, yeah. We got there. That's all that matters. Appeared to be entertained by Chinese emperor. If something's entertained, it can be, it'll be, I can't express it into words, but it feels like a hidden. If something's entertained, it is taken in, it is shown a good time. That doesn't really work, that bit. The taken in, though, yeah, I like. So Chinese emperor, we've got an S, we've got an E, and actually we can get the word seem, which does mean appear to be, so that feels fine. Poles holding on something that spins continuously. What if we've got, our wordplay could be poles, so maybe north, south, east, west, and we've got an N here, holding, so inside of those poles, we've got on. If we had that, I think we're going to get nonsense. No, doesn't quite work, does it? On. No, what is this? Something that spins continuously. Poles holding on. I mean, I like the thought of that as the wordplay. And then we could have, I mean, that's why I was thinking nonsense. I was having like that ending. What, that doesn't really work in terms of something that spins continuously. What could that be? A spinning top, a gyroscope. I think we'll take that out. Poles holding on. Oh, no. It is, I think this is an andlet, kind of an andlet. So it's poles, NS, holding on, and then that's going to be on something that spins continuously, or something that spins, sorry. Yeah, it's not an andlet. On something that spins, so on top of something that spins, in this case, a top. So we're going to get then non-stop, which is continuously. Okay, we got there. They stay abroad. Parking in Texas, possibly. They stay abroad. Parking, which can be T, in Texas, possibly. Texas is 5 letters. We're looking for 6. It might be the word possibly here is an anagram indicator, saying that we've got our P, we're putting that in an anagram of Texas. We've got the T. Expats. they stay abroad. Yeah, so that's our definition. An expat is someone who goes abroad and lives there. So expatriate is going to be the same, I think, but let's go here. Expat. An expatriate is someone who resides outside their native country. Yeah, absolutely fine. It's worrying though that we have looked at both of these clues and we've not got an answer there. So I think that's going to be our sticking point on this puzzle. But let's have a look at the rest. Composer caught at home holding dance. I want to say this is Chopin. So at home. Yes, okay, so caught in cricket can be C. If you're at home, then you are in. And caught at home, C-I-N, is going to be holding. Inside of that, we're going to have a dance, which is going to be a hop. So the way I arrived at Chopin was I saw that at home, and I was just looking for something that had in it. Got a starting letter here, so let's have a look. European country ignoring area wanting food. Okay, so I think this is fairly easy. This is going to be Hungary wanting food as our definition. So we've got this far, and that's the start of the European country Hungary. We're going to ignore area. Area can be A, we're going to take the A out. Then we've got the RY. Neat trail, oddly enough. Oddly enough makes me think we're just taking the odd letters and we start with an N, so that feels okay. In part of South Africa. In part could be a hidden indicator, but I'm not seeing an N in this bit here. So I think part of South Africa is going to be our definition. Neat trail, N-A-T-A-L, Natal. I think that is a place in South Africa. I could certainly be persuaded of it. I think I've heard of it as a place. If I find out that it's in, like, I don't know, Portugal or Morocco now, I'd be like, yeah, sure. My geography is not great. I can believe that. So Natal. Natal, South Africa. Yeah. It's a province of South Africa. Yeah, okay. Feels very reasonable. Consider slender king. So slender, beginning with T, could be thin. Yeah, and K can be king. So if we put those together, we'll get think, which does mean consider. With three words, it's not ridiculous that this would be double definition. Like, it can be hard sometimes to make wordplay work, but it comes together on this one, so that's fine. Small book by Kipling. To read superficially. So small could be S. Book by Kipling. Did he write a book that was called Kip? In any case, I like Kip as our second part of the wordplay, whether we're saying that's a book by Kipling or just we're taking a short version of the word Kipling, Rudyard Kipling being who we're referring to here, because that gives us skip, which can mean to read superficially. If you're skipping over chunks, you're not looking at it properly. So I think that's okay. Even though I don't quite understand the wordplay, I'm fairly happy with it. Man's clue involved American figure. Man's clue could be an anagram, except there's no P. American figure. Man's clue. Involved feels like we're putting something inside of something. So what could that be? So our wordplay feels like it's either clue involved American figure, or man's clue, or man's, maybe that's two words, maybe that's one phrase, and involving American. So it feels like we're going to get US in there, whichever happens. Maybe US, maybe it's something else, like American figure. American figure could be Sam, Uncle Sam. If that was the case, that would go there. Man's amp. I don't think I like that. Would man's be? Because then we're looking for a word that means clue, that is something N, something LP. So I don't think I like that one. We've only got one more opportunity as a crossing letter, so again, this feels like it could become a problem. But let's take a look at that one. A priest, which is 7 letters of note, organising social occasions. Organising could be an anagram indicator. A priest, though, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's sort of... Sometimes when you've got an anagram indicator, you can just see that a collection of letters is weird, and a priest feels like it's a natural phrase to kind of have at the start of a clue. A priest, social occasions. Could start like that, couldn't it? Parties, I think, is what we're going with. And even though I had the STR start there, I was trying to figure out where the vowels would go, because I didn't leave a lot of space for 3 vowels, so I then put a vowel over there and yeah, saw it. Okay. So that means that can't be Sam, but that could be US. Man's clue involved American figure. What could a figure be? A figure could be a number, so it could be that we're putting a Roman numeral in there, assuming that's part of the wordplay. So it could be, I mean, there it becomes relatively, there's very few things it can be, because it's got to be a Roman numeral, but it's also got to be a vowel. So it could be I, but it couldn't be V, it couldn't be X, it couldn't be L, D, C, M. So if we're thinking that figure is part of the wordplay, that limits that to sip, in which case we're looking again for a word that means clue, that's now something N, something L, P. And this gives us something that means man's, which feels very unlikely. So then I think we're looking for something that means figure. How much do we think that could be American? So the US could be American. I mean, in terms of this last bit, it doesn't matter, though the S and the P are given, assuming that we like skip, which I really do. Man's clue. Is there any way that this couldn't be skip? Book by Kipling. You know what? Let's check. Is there a book Kip? So Kipling books were just so stories. They were the Jungle Book, and he had some poems as well. But that feels like it's got to be skip. Book by Kipling. Okay, so Kim is the novel by Kipling, and that gives us skim, which feels, a little bit better in terms of the answer than oh, but that's interesting. That okay. That also gives us the answer. So that feels a little bit better than skip in terms of skim, in terms of reading superficially, because you are actually reading it. With skip, you're not reading it. That's part of the point. So I think skip wasn't too bad. But where I said I was reasonably comfortable without properly understanding the wordplay, we should have understood the wordplay and would have got that. Because now, with that being S and M, that clearly looks like it's going to be Sam. Our American figure is going to be Uncle Sam, which I think we talked about a minute ago, like that. Yeah. So man's clue involved, and that is now going to be an anagram, isn't it, of Uncle Sam? Yeah. Well, that's annoying. We should have got that one much more quickly than we did. Foolish, stirring up endless dispute. So dispute is 7 letters, but if that's endless, we'll take off the E, and stirring up could be an anagram indicator. So can we think of a word for foolish that is an anagram of disput? Could end IE. Like foolish is an adjective, and I can think it feels like an adjective could have an IE ending. So what would that give us? Oh no, because the whole point is it hasn't got the E. So if we're doing that, then actually it could be stupid. So yeah. Okay, that feels reasonable. What have we not looked at yet? Have we looked at this one? We've not looked at this. Cover over very large. Leisure facilities. Leisure facilities could be swim, could be pools, it could be gyms. Cover over very large leisure facilities. So cover over very large could be our wordplay. The word over here could be positional. If we're putting the word cover over a word that means, over something that means very large, then it could be that we're putting something that means very large in the middle of it. A cover could be a lid. Oh, no. Leisure facilities is going to be Lidos. And we're going to get that. So it is lid, but then over means it's on top of in a down clue, and very large is going to be oversized or outsized, which can be abbreviated to OS. Okay, so an amateur team is a lay side, and that's going to have ace. So inside of that we're going to have an A, which in card notation can mean ace, and lay aside is our definition, meaning, in reserve is our definition, meaning lay aside, so that's fine. Red flower. Family would be blood. Red would be, could be blood as well, maybe. Red flower, like blood red is a phrase. Family is blood, so again I think that's pretty reasonable. I don't quite understand. I mean, this is where we went wrong down with skim. I don't quite understand the wordplay, but I think that works well enough. So now boring cocktail. Anagram of boring doesn't look very good, does it? What could we have instead? It may be used. It may be used. Cocktail, I was thinking feather, and you could use a quill, but we'd need a U, so it doesn't work. And what would that be? A quilt. It doesn't. So what part of this then feels like our definition, and what feels like wordplay? If boring cocktail isn't going to be are wordplay, if something may be something, then you could say that you're letting. May is permissive, isn't it? And let could be permissive. Oh, that is... No. That's... I mean, that's not wrong, but it's not right in this scenario. The answer here, I think, is going to be gimlet, because gimlet is a cocktail, and also it's something in jewel making, I think. It may be used for boring. It's some sort of drill. Let's have a look at what a gimlet is. A small T-shaped tool with a screw tip for boring holes to a cocktail. Aces. Okay, 2 more clues to go. Dad turned light off and weather forecast no longer an issue. If something's no longer an issue, then it's settled. Weather forecast. I guess settled could be a weather forecast, couldn't it? It's going to snow and it's going to settle. I feel like I may be reaching a little bit there, but I think that's going to be the answer. So this looks okay, doesn't it, for Dad turned? Light, LED. If something is off, then it is addled. It's not the synonym I would pick in any situation, I think, but I think it's close enough that it's reasonable. So let's go with that and we'll see what we got. Okay, we got there. 42 minutes. I think we could have gone faster, but also, you know, we're talking through the clues at length, so you're never going to hit a world-beating time. Okay, and that was a pretty fair one, actually. There was nothing in there that was completely ridiculous. Obviously, we struggled a little bit with skim and skip. There were a couple of specifics in there that I didn't know. I didn't know Natal was a South African province. I wasn't aware of Satine. Gimlet was a little bit foggy on, but yeah, for the most part, not. Everything was gettable, wasn't it? So yeah, another good cryptic crossword by Michael Curl. I think he must be the resident writer at the Daily Mail. So back tomorrow with another one. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Until next time, have a good experience with cryptic crosswords.